G'day, and this is the story of my true meaning of Christmas, my religious story. Here you go. Edith Baker was born in Athens in ancient Greece in the middle of spring, and her parents were Tom and Elizabeth Baker, and she had two naughty brothers named Ned and Jonathan, who Jonathan is me, who teased her, and they looked like two big tough boys with heaps of muscles in their legs, and they told Edith she was a puny little girlie and a big wimp, and the boys said they have more power than you loser girls, so Edith let us boys win. Young Edith let us boys win. And Edith ran to her parents crying, and she said, and the parents said, don't worry about the boys, they can be tamed. And Edith went to her room and said, I will find a way to tame those naughty boys. Yeah, I will chop them up and from their juicy legs and have them for dinner. And you can't catch us, you girl, the boys called out to her. And they kept it secret who they actually were. And the boys were attacked by a nasty witch, and they were kept in the witch's back garden shed with the fire on high. And the boys yelled out, help! Help! Please save us from this mean lady. We are only young. We aren't ready to die. Please let us go. You see, Athena put the power into Edith to defeat these boys. Athena made Edith grow into an adult to scare these boys out of her, because she is more powerful than anyone on earth, and Edith was really suffering. And then Athena brought Ned and Jonathan down to a dungeon where she will keep these naughty boys till they learn that teasing Edith Baker was the worst mistake of their lives. Edith was having a great time with Athena's power, giving these boys complete hell. And Jonathan said to Edith, we are just having fun with you, okay? I don't want to change the world this way. And Athena said to Edith, start with fattening up Jonathan. You see, he's expressing himself. He must be Cronus, because he is the only one that knows how to express himself from these days. And Jonathan said, Edith, don't kill me. I'm not going to piss you off. You're not going to pass go if you kill me. And Athena fed Jonathan delicious treats, and after 3 weeks, he became a nice, juicy, fatty boy. And Edith, with Athena's help, cooked Jonathan up, and his bones were the only thing left. And Cronus was discovered as a religious god of ancient Greece. And Athena let Ned go home and go out of Edith's head, and they lived happily ever after, missing Jonathan, but still lived happily ever after. And on the following Christmas, 2 twins were born. Hansel, who is Cronus, and his twin sister Gretel came into the world and lived on a very run-down farm, which way back somewhere used to be the city of eternity. But Wanda Grey, who is the wicked witch, who used witchcraft to destroy eternity and forced the whole Mother Earth to be destroyed, and humans will die. And Hansel and Gretel's parents, who lived a normal life in eternity by doing just normal family duties. And Hansel was a great rugby union player. And he was a pig of all his friends. And he was also a bit of a joker, making fun of Gretel every day, making their parents very stressed out, mainly because Gretel was a lazy girl, never did anything constructive. And when Gretel said, leave me alone, Hansel refused to listen to her, saying he was too tough for this namby-pamby girl. She just wants to play with dolls and do all the wimpy girly things. And when Wanda Grey's plan to destroy eternity worked, every human was destroyed except for Hansel and Gretel's family. And the father sent Hansel and Gretel off to find peace. And they walked in the debris of what was eternity. They came up to this house, and Hansel recognized this place as the rugby union football club he used to play for. that Hansel was a part of as well. So they came up to the front door, and Hansel was hoping to see his coach, because he was too young to understand that they were the only civilized people on Earth. And they knocked on the door, and then Wanda Gray, who was the Wicked Witch, put her hand around Hansel and Gretel's mouth and brought them down to her dungeon. And Hansel and Gretel were screaming, saying, "Help! Help! Let us stuck in! Go! We are stuck in here forever!" After a few days, Gretel became very scared. As the only human she can see is her twin brother Hansel. They spent 2 years down there, and Gretel was too shy to stay strong and was getting weaker. And Hansel was still trying, even without food. He tried to be the masculine part of the role of the male. And then Wanda Gray came back and said, "Hi, Gretel, you are a weak little girl. Aren't you? Aren't you?" And then said, "Why aren't you like that?" You see, Hansel had this plan. He had just managed to weaken the chain. So when the witch came, he got free from the chain and kicked Wanda Gray in the shins and knocked her over. But Hansel couldn't save Gretel. So he just ran off. And then the witch got up and stabbed Gretel in the stomach. And after 2 hours, she was dead. And Hansel was nearly 12 and ran outside, and then got a few old branches and pushed them against the door of the witch's den, and then ran off into the fields. And Hansel was puzzled. He was running in a direction that his home was, and he couldn't find it anywhere. So he ran back to find the witch's den, and he couldn't find it either. And Hansel was scared. It looked like that Hansel was the only kid on Earth, and started to run around the field, and he was enjoying himself. And there was a big rainstorm that come into the fields, and Hansel was picked up and went sliding down a hill and fell asleep for 3 hours. And then Hansel woke up, and there was this giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he looked mighty hungry. And then it started to chase Hansel through the woods. And Hansel was sweating from the run and the fear that this dinosaur was going to eat him. And then Hansel slipped over, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex suddenly got out of the picture. And then he saw a Dinosaurus, a Dionysus, suddenly came into life and fixed his eyes on Hansel. And Hansel found himself cornered by the Tyrannosaurus Rex and a Dionysaurus. And then a Megalosaurus came and pushed Hansel into the ground, and Hansel thought straight away he was going to die. But he fell down a patch of leaves, laid down in a way like a bed. And this was the work of Athena to save Cronus. And Hansel slept for 23 years. Okay, so that was the first part. Interesting story. Good way to start. You'll find out exactly what happens later. Bye.